the clock at 4 o'clock. It's now 4 o'clock, and I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 31, Program 311, Policy Development and Administration Current Expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, let me take this opportunity to say a pleasant afternoon to the staff, my former staff at the Ministry of Public Works, then Public Infrastructure, now Public Works. So, welcome. Mr. Chair, may I turn the honorable member attention to line item 6111 on the staffing details. I note here for 2024, you had 5, and for 2025, there will be an increase. Can the honorable member explain the reason for the increase and where the 3 additional staff will be assigned? Thank you very much.
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And in the same breath, let me thank the honorable member for the question and to recognize the hardworking staff that lend support to myself and Minister Indar at the Ministry of Public Works. There will be 3 new positions: 1 field auditor, 1 senior registry supervisor, and 1 registry supervisor. We had a transfer of, well, the movement of 1 person, the DPS.
Thank you very much, Honorable
Ms. Ferguson, yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I thank the honorable member for his response. May I turn the honorable member attention to line item 6116 on the staffing details, contracted employees. I note for 2024, you had a figure of 4, but in 2025, you have an increase by 2. Can you explain the reason for the increase and also the positions for these 2 contracted employees? Thank you very much, or positions rather.
Mr. Chair, the vastness of the work of the Ministry of Public Works should have seen us hiring much more. But under this program, what we're talking about here right now are 2 cleaners.
MP.
Thank you very much, honorable member. Mr. Chair, through you to the honorable member, may I turn his attention to line item 6264, vehicle spares and parts, or service, sorry. I note for 2024, you would have exhausted the sums approved in this house. But I recognize for 2025, you're requesting an increase by probably 2.1 million. So can you explain the reason for the increase? That's 1. Secondly, can you say the number of vehicles within the fleet, and also where these vehicles are assigned in the ministry? Thank you very much.
Minister.
Mr. Chair, the reason for the increase, which is, you would agree, is not a big increase, is because we have acquired other vehicles. These are operational vehicles. This program deals with policy development and administration of the ministry, and it's just the additional vehicles that we have taken in order to get our work done.
Thanks, Minister. MP Patterson.
Thank you, sir. 6321, subsidies to local organizations, sir. And if we get to break down, sir, we see for Barbie's Bridge, sir, there's an increase there. And I know the minister is going to say that they're catering for free travel, sir. What I would like to preempt it, sir, what I $1 billion from 200, right? Sir, what I'm asking, what, sir, when this commence, when will this commence? And how many vehicles and transit are you catering for here? And is this a recurring expense going forward?
Minister.
Mr. Chair, thank the Honorable Member for the question, but it's not a secret. The announcement has been made that at the completion of the new Demerara River Bridge, tolls for all other bridges will become free, which would mean the Barbie's Bridge as well as the Wisma Mackenzie Bridge. In this subsidy, every year there was a contribution that the government was putting because we were subsidizing the toll. This figure is as a result of watching the traffic flows and taking care, anticipating that at the end of August, the toll-free regime will step in, and it is calculated based upon anticipated flow, based upon actual numbers that transit the bridge, even with a consideration that the toll being free, more people will travel.
Sir,
MP
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understood everything you said, sir. That's why I asked him, sir. You made an anticipation. What is the traffic count numerically that he anticipated?
Minister.
Mr. Chair, I don't have the manager of the Barbie's Bridge here with me to give me exact numbers right now, but this is something that could be dealt with in another forum. Getting the number of vehicles, the transit, I can tell you, at the Demerara Harbour Bridge is an average of 20,000 every day, Sundays and Saturdays. The transit of the bridge, the pattern has changed. There are more people traveling the bridge on Saturday and Sundays now than Monday to Friday. The Barbie's Bridge is still a private company. It's not a state-owned company, but this is based upon the figures that we have. But I can give you that information of what is it. We have some numbers? We have some numbers. All right, so let me give you some numbers so you could understand. In 2024, there was 406,598. Right. So February we had about 384,000. March, another 384. So we average about 400,000 vehicles per month, giving us a total of about 4.4 million vehicles for the year. And those calculations, and we're anticipating a 2.84 increase with an average daily crossing of about 13,310. Those are the numbers we're getting right now out of what is actually passing through the bridge.
MP.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Sir, the Berbice Bridge concessional agreement comes to an end in 2027, which means, sir, that obviously for the toll-free period, sir, you will pay them for 2 more years based on the concessional agreement. Obviously, double this. Is that correct, sir? 2 more years will you be paying Berbice Bridge?
Mr. Chairman, I cannot give that commitment that the honorable member would like to make right now, because there is room for negotiations of what will take place as it relates to that. So I don't want to sit here definitively. Remember, you acquired the ownership of the bridge. We have actually returned that ownership to the company. That's the difference between the two administrations. We don't stifle private sector development. We encourage it. And in the environment of encouraging private sector development, we also ensure fairness, because we have to send the right signal. One of the things about a developing country, and this is where the difference between the PPPC and the AP and UAFC differs, you have to send the right signal to the private sector. We cannot, in an environment where people and companies make investments. No, we must say it because sometimes people need to hear it. In an environment where private sector people come in and make investments, and there are agreements, governments must not send the wrong signal. Who knows? Who knows? There might be models for other development projects, and we must be able to keep faith with what we stand for. Thank you.
Sir, follow up, sir, for the most revealing comment that you have handed back the bridge. Sir, can the minister say that the tolls that they will be paying from August, is it the enhanced tolls, the $8,000 per car that prompted the previous administration to take control of the bridge? Is that calculated, or is it the existing toll of $2,200? In other words, sir, if you've given the company back, sir, they've given them free leverage to increase their fees, and sir, the taxpayers now will be paying a heavier burden now, sir. So thank you for revealing that to the public. And
Mr. Chair, I don't know where the honorable member got $10,000 a car. We have said it, and I will say it repeatedly. When the tolls were set for the Berbice Bridge, whatever it cost a car to cross the steamer and return, and the passengers of that car, was what the toll was. It was never 8,000. What we are proposing to do here right now, whatever is the toll that is being paid now, this is not catering for any increase in tolls. Whatever is the tolls, this money will, when we say it's free, the government will absorb that. There's no increases here. So if there's any jumbie behind the bush that we're trying to pass on money to friends and family and so on, we are keeping faith with the people of Guyana at the same level, the same rate of what it is being paid now.
Honorable Member, MP Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, line item 6321, contribution to local organizations. Transport and Harbours Department, Mr. Chair. To the honorable member, I recognize there's a decrease for 2025 from 1.2 to 1.1 and change. Can the honorable member explain the reason for the decrease, and also to say to this House whether the amount that you're catering now will suffice for the remaining of the year, and we don't see you coming in August, just before perhaps the recess, for supplementary funds? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm sure the citizens of Guyana can be very proud of the delivery of services by the Transport and Harbours Department over the last 4 years. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, we made it clear here during the time of the supplementary, and that is what the honorable member is asking. The reason why we asked for a supplementary last year is because we were making more trips and we have additional vessels. So this number that we're putting here now, if you would notice, we started off last year, the best estimate was 974, and this year we're asking for about $1 billion, just $1,160,000. If there is need for more money, yes, we will come to the Parliament and ask for it to ensure that the good people of Guyana, whether they live in Region 1, Kumaka or Port Kaituma, or they live in Region 2, Supanam, and all the way to Charity into the Pomeroon, or whether they live in Region 7, all the way into Bartica into the interior, they will continue to get the good service that the Transport and Harbors Department offers. Mr. Chair, and let me just add this. I did report to this House, and I would like to remind the honorable member that we have brought down the fuel cost because we have been able to kick the racket of fuel smuggling on the vessels down. So we were doing more trips and spending less fuel. And that's a miracle of the PPPC since we took office.
Thank you, Minister. Member Patterson.
No, MP
Sorry,
Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I thank the honorable member for his response. Under the very line item 6321, contributions to local organizations, I note we have an increase for the Guyana Civil Aviation as against what was approved for 2024. So can the honorable member explain to the House what this increase will now take care of? Thank you very much.
Minister.
Mr. Chair, it did not allow me the opportunity because of time during the debates. But the honorable member would be pleased, and the Guyana would be pleased to know that the Guyana Civil Aviation Authorities Training School has just been accredited and certified by Train Air of the IKO. Mr. Chairman, in another week, a delegation from Guyana will be in Abu Dhabi, of where our instrument of certification will be handed over to Guyana while we were attending the GISS. And Mr. Chairman, let me just inform what that means. It means, honorable member, that we will not only be allowed to train Guyanese, but we can train people from all over the Caribbean and any other country that wishes to come to Guyana because of the quality of training that is taking place here with our air traffic controllers and other people in the aviation industry. I would also like to add that the Secretary General of the ICAO has communicated that the industry has recognized that Guyana offers one of the highest qualities of overflight service that is taking place here. So this little increase to the Civil Aviation Authority, sir, will see greater things being done, and eventually it will become a means of revenue earning, because as people come to Guyana for training, they will have to pay, and we will not have to be coming back to the House to ask for more money. There was a time when we didn't have to ask for money for the Civil Aviation Authority. When Minister Robeson Ben demitted office in 2015, the authority had more than $1 billion in its reserve. When we got there, we were in a deficit, and it's from since then we're trying to get us out. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, this is a good time to put the question that the sum stated for Agency 31, Ministry of Public Works, Program 311, Policy Development and Administration, current expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Let's turn to pages 174 and 75. And I propose a question with the sum stated for Program 312 in this agency stands part of the estimates. And I put the question that Honorable Member Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, may I turn the honorable member attention to line item 6116 on the staffing details for contracted employees. I note we have an increase by 30 from 232 to 262. Can the honorable member explain the reason for the increase and where these persons are now or will be assigned, and what are the new positions if there's any? Thank you very much.
Minister?
Mr. Chair, this is the program that is delivering to the Guyanese people our infrastructural development that is happening around the country, whether it's roads, bridges, sea defenses, engineers working on aerodromes. We had 7 resignations, and we have employed 24 new engineers, a health safety and environmental officer, procurement officer, 12 clerk of works, 1 accountant, and 4 accounts clerk. That is to improve operational efficiency of the ministry.
Thank you, Minister. MP Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I thank the honorable member for his response, and I'm happy to hear that additional staff are being employed so that we can get the work done to deliver the services to our people. Let me turn the honorable member attention to line item 6272, electricity charges. Honorable member, I note for last year, we had 416 million budgeted. But for 2025, you're now seeking an increase, or a total sum rather, of $474,050. Can you explain the reason for the increases, and also the areas or the buildings that will be catered for under this particular line item that the ministry has responsibility for? Thank you.
Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The honorable member, don't just think about buildings. The daily requests of the Guyanese people for street lights must be catered for, and you would know that we went out for public tendering for the purchase of 100,000 street lights. 80,000 will be on the grid, 20,000 standalone solar. And unlike others, when we put up lights, we pay our bills. So this is to enhance that. And just before you come back again, you would have seen and heard from the Honorable Minister of Finance, you would have seen it in your estimates on the infrastructural development. There is going to be a massive layout of road safety measures, including the placement of street lights on specific thoroughfares, including the Heroes Highway, where people have been asking that from. The Prime Minister is heading a special cabinet subcommittee that includes the traffic officers from all of the various regions and specific ministers in various sectors. And we have to pay for those installations and pay the electricity to operate them. So that's why we have it. It is the improvement that we are bringing to Guyana that is asking for this meager sum in terms of increases. Thank you.
MP Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Through you, Mr. Chair, may I turn the Honorable Member attention to line item 6281, Security Services. I recognize for budget 2024, the ministry had an approved sum of 6.4 million, and it was subsequently revised to 6.2 million. I note for 2025, Honorable Minister, you requested 4.7 million. Can you explain the reason for the reduction? Also, can you say to the House which security services are providing services to the ministry and where exactly the different areas in the ministry is benefiting from this service?
Minister.
Mr. Chair, this line item deals specifically with the payment of salaries and NIS benefits of 5 security personnel working in Region 2. In Region 2, yes. The decrease is also because we had death of 1 security supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. MP Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, for clarification, I heard the Honorable Member stated that this sum represents payment to salary for 5 security officers. Am I to understand these are officers, security officers hired by the ministry, or these are private security officers?
Minister.
Mr. Chair, I would like to assure the member, these are the same security officers that we came and met when we took government in 2020.
MP Patterson.
Thank you, sir. 6255, maintenance of water infrastructure. Minister, we do agree roads have been, I said that being done, roads have been expanded. Sir, but there's a new phenomena whereby derelict cars, drunk trailers, junkyards have been opened and on these roadways, thus rendering a 2-lane road into a single lane. Sir, can you say what portion of this, sir, will you be putting, if any, to removal of these cars, and sir, what will the ministry be putting in place that the roads that you've constructed which are 2 lanes, remain 2 lanes as opposed to 1 lane and a parking lane?
Mr. Chair, I thank the honorable member for the question, and I would invite him to make a joint statement with me that we send the signal from this National Assembly that the intolerable, disgusting, and unuseful dumping of derelicts along main access roads, private businesses that park unlit lorries, people without permission that put up signboards and billboards that block the view of and vision of drivers, that we could get all of these things corrected. Even if I had 2 signatures, both former ministers Patterson and Ferguson, we will send the right signal to the Guyanese people that when the Ministry of Public Works start picking up these wrecks, nobody could run to offices and make this political issues. As a matter of fact, completed just about 5 days ago, an entire unit of the Ministry of Public Works toured all of our main thoroughfares, all of the alignments that construction is taking place, because there's a phenomenon that is developing. And that's why I'm saying I'm asking the Honorable Minister to join me in signing a public statement that when announcements are made, people find it attractive to go and put up a shop, so that the government will now have to negotiate with them to get them out of the alignment so that the development project will go. So we have a number of issues like that. People are pulling out their fence, people are putting things in the way to say, if you want me to move, this is where I've been selling for the last 20 years. And I've been advising some people, the only thing we would do is not charge you rent for utilizing the government reserve for the last 20 years. So sometimes most of the money that we use, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, to come and clear the main access roads come through our main access roads program. But this is just a small amount to help with some of the things that we are doing. It is becoming a major problem. And I listened to the Honorable Leader of the Opposition yesterday that he will build roads, he will build bridges, he will even build more than the PPPC is planning to build, several points across the Essequibo and the rest of it. We have to be able to send the signal that when a roadway or a road is widened, a corridor is expanded, or there's geometric improvement of a road, it does not give anybody, no matter which party they support, the license to park, to come out with caravans and open pharmacies and supermarkets on the road shoulders and on the roadway. We have to be able to bring this under control. And I make this call this afternoon in the House that this will be something that politics stay far from, because it will affect all of us. So we are addressing the matter. As a matter of fact, in the same subcommittee that I referred, that the Prime Minister is leading, one of the issues that are there to come out with a policy is a policy on trucks. We're not sitting idly by. The Ministry of Housing and Water is looking for lands within the corridors to develop, which will be parking zones for trucks and articulated vehicles, so we can migrate them from the road shoulders into commercial parking areas where they will pay a fee. You come out from the interior, you park there, you come with your canter with smaller stuff as against encumbering and congesting. So that's where we are on that. Thank you very much.
Mr.
MP Patterson.
Mr. Chair, let me assure the reason I raised this issue, sir, is not a political issue, it's an issue which is broad-based concern. Sir, I know you share that concern as well, and we're quite willing to share a joint statement. However, what I was hoping that the minister would say to this House is that there's a definitive program. In the Dennis Street, they widen it, sir, and they're right now, sir, there's railway and embankments at the junkyard and containers all the way. I was hoping the minister should say that with the money we're going to appropriate here, sir, from tomorrow or Thursday, put everyone on notice, sir. Don't wait on the signature of poor, lowly David to do something, sir. And I was hoping that was a response I could have enlisted from the minister.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And for the benefit of the honorable member, the lawlessness on the railway embankment not far from the AFC headquarters. Notice was served to that gentleman last week, Thursday afternoon. We have removed derelicts from there and he has returned. And in the presence of the commander of the division, we said to him, if you bring back derelicts now, and that's anybody when we move derelicts, you'll be charged and placed before the courts. The number that I received from the head of this program in terms of traffic safety and maintenance would have shown that we would have spent about $45 million last year moving derelicts, Region 6, Region 5, Region 4, Region 3, Region 2, on the Linden-Soosdijk Highway, And yes, we have to get this under check. We have to get this under control. And we're making it very clear. We don't want to stifle economic activity. We don't want to take bread out of people's mouths. Sometimes we hear the commentary when we act. But certainly, safety. We have had several times, and just to let the leader of the opposition know the magnitude of the problem so he could cooperate on this. The East Bank thoroughfare, we have had to move sand, stone, and other debris from the road shoulders. It is dangerous to encumber the road shoulders because in the case of an emergency, people are trapped. They cannot pass. And some businesses have taken it on their own, yes. And that is why I'm saying let's do this together. We are moving, we will continue to move, and I've just completed the exercise where I have before me the visuals. Yes, the visuals of every area and the instructions, and I'm making this public using this committee of supply to make this. The instructions are, while we move that which has been, and those that are, anything that comes out now, the same day it comes out, the same day it will be removed. No notices. No notices. The same day you come out, the same day you'll be removed. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
in the same line, I want to ask the honorable member if he recognizes that on the new road you did through Camberville, the very fence you were putting up blocking people's view.
Yes.
When you were driving, if you drive down that new road, they're putting fences high as your head. So when you try to, so you cannot see vehicle. May I also ask you if you are aware that when you turn into the Heroes Highway, the thing is so high that you cannot see. What is the government going to do about the constructions they are doing that are blocking the view and affecting road safety?
Well,
Honorable Minister.
thank you very much, Leader of the Opposition, and I really appreciate your comment. If it's the Conversation Tree project that you're discussing, where we put in the picket fences, safety is the reason why we're doing that for people who are walking in. People do walk there and exercise, Ms. Ferguson. If it is too high, we will have a review because there is absolutely no difficulty in the review. We could ask my traffic and maintenance head to look at that with the engineer who's supervising the development of that area to have a look at it, because at all material times, we want people to be able to see. We have heard the complaints about the height of the bridges on Heroes Highway before, and it is something that we are looking at, because no life should be lost because somebody was encumbered or their vision was blurred and the rest of it. We've had situations where we've had to go personally, and it's not a good thing to say. We have to go to people with the way they park their caravans and the rest at the corner. You can't see the incoming traffic, so you have to actually go out to peep, to drive. And when we discover those things, sometimes it's the devil's job to get it under, but we will review your request, sir. I can guarantee you that we will do a review of that.
Minister, before I take the next person, what the Leader of the Opposition has raised and MP Patterson just commented on is serious. When you're going east to west, either Bissessar Avenue, Pike Street, or further down, the height of that rail right now is being painted white. You have to literally come out, because especially daytime, you're not seeing the vehicles coming from the turn, from the most southern turn. Listen, I travel that literally every single day, and it's dangerous, dangerous, dangerous.
He has a big vehicle. Imagine if it's small vehicles.
Yeah. And not only that, they have a few people are parking their vehicles. Yes. We're not talking the conversation tree end. We're talking the entire section from Pike Street coming all the way to Dennis Street.
Mr. Mr.
It's
Chairman,
serious.
I can assure you, as the minister responsible for transportation, within the week, we will do a full review, and whatever adjustments have to be made will be made. And this is in the interest of the safety of all the citizens of Guyana.
And the other thing, most of us traversing that route in the mornings have children in the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
We fully support you on this one, Jim.
Yes.
This is
Thank
people
you.
I'm happy 5 minutes you took there.
MP Ferguson,
Thank you very much.
sorry.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, on that very line item, I would like to make a proposal to the honorable member for him in his review when activity. It will be good for you to take a look at what is happening on the hero highways as you head to, I think, Red Road and Mocha, because it is terrible, very, very dangerous when one coming out from Mocha and the traffic coming north to south. It's risky. So perhaps it is time for both ministries, housing and public infrastructure, look at the idea of mounting traffic lights there to save the lives of our people. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Minister.
Mr. Chair, I thank the honorable member for her suggestion, and it is included in the discussions that we are doing right now to finalize where and where between the traffic department, the people who manage the traffic, as well as the various ministries in the various sectors. It's all in one discussion, and we are hoping to get that concluded. The Prime Minister told me that he wants to get it done before the Parliament session is completed, and I will urge him that we get on with it. So, thank you.
Honorable members, this
So,
Mr.
thank you.
Figueroa.
Thank you, Comrade Chair. On the same line item, Honorable Minister, and I'm happy that you're addressing the issues with derelict vehicles on the main thoroughfares. But I think you also need to give some consideration to the derelict vehicles in the secondary roads. In many communities where there's a lot of mechanic shops, and what we discover in some of these very communities, the mechanics, with all of their efforts, can't fix some of the vehicles. And when that is communicated to the owners of the vehicle, it is left there. The mechanic can take the responsibility to move it, and it's there for months and months. And some instances where the mechanic operates, the roadways are small. And because the vehicles aren't moving, the traffic congestion in the smooth flow of traffic is encumbered. So that too should also be looked at when you are removing those derelict vehicles, and we get a full national cleanup of all of those bad vehicles that is messing up the flow of traffic.
Honorable Minister.
I thank the honorable member, Mr. Figueroa, for his intervention, sir, and the collaborative work. The leader of the opposition will advise you that 2801, who I'm sure he's very familiar with, that takes care of the municipalities, and 2802, which takes care of the NDCs. The responsibility of those inner streets are the responsibility of the municipalities and the NDCs. So they have said to us that they don't have the resources, they don't have the tow trucks, and so on. And what we've been doing is getting them to serve the notice in keeping with the law. And when it is not complied with, then we go in and help. But 2801 and 2802 are still the laws of Guyana, and we work with them. But it's also a good time to make a call, because, Mr. Chair, I get letters from NDCs as well as citizens with petitions, Mr. Leader of the Opposition, of people in communities that they're upset with that they can't pass. And oftentimes you try to get community engagements because a person working, living in a community, and you're obstructing the flow of your own neighbors. At some time you gotta listen to your neighbors. At some time we gotta be together. We've had to move entire containers, and people have threatened even to sue me. 40-foot containers. You would, because of where you live, Leader of the Opposition, when we were making the bypass, since the Ogle Road was under construction, we had 2 containers when you're coming out to Rupert Craig Highway. We begged and begged and begged for the man to move the containers. We had to move it ourselves. The NDC officials were there with us. So it's a collaborative effort, and I think the consensus here in the House, and I could anticipate support from everyone, is that whatever it takes, we need to get this thing under control, whether it's on the main access roads or it is in the communities, and we will be going forward with that. And if we need more money to supplement what we're doing, when we come back, we're sure you will support us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Member, Mr. Figueroa.
Thank you. Certainly. Yeah, so, Honorable Minister, I'm very much cognizant of the Chapter 28 to 1 with regards to the responsibility of the municipality. But it is you who have extended the olive branch of collaboration. And I'm saying to you that given the fact that the municipality, especially in Linden, that doesn't have the capacity to move the debris that exists in all of the 8 constituencies of Linden where derelict vehicles exist, we are happy that you are extending the invitation, because many of the mechanics that I would have visited brought this to my attention, that they have communicated with the municipality, and the municipality would have communicated with them, indicating that they don't have the capacity to assist in the removing of the debris. So what I can assist you and your team with, in collaboration with the municipality, is bring this to your attention or your team's attention when they come to the community, where these vehicles are, so that when you're coming, you can do one swoop or a coordination of swoop to get all of these vehicles off of the road, because they're cumbersome in the flow of traffic. Thank you.
Minister.
Mr. Chair, I totally agree with the honorable member. He will know that there's a derelict dump site on the Linden-Suzdijk Highway where we take, and we're going to start selling scrap iron. And we call the sale that people smash it into scrap and start selling. And it is also important to note, to assist the police, just the other day we handed over to them 50 wheel clamps for cars. And we are procuring 200 clamps for trucks. And that is for a particular reason, because once you make them immobile and you shut them down and you leave them for a while, when people's pockets start being affected, they come into compliance. And they're going to be tough measures, and that is why we have the policy paper at the Cabinet Subcommittee, which we will be discussing. And I repeat, this is not a targeting of anyone. It's bringing back our country to a place of decency and where we could operate in a safe manner. And the agreement that I'm hearing in this House is all of us want the same thing. We might go about doing it different ways, but ultimately we all want the same thing, and we will achieve that. And from time to time, I may call on some of you for your assistance in specific areas, especially where your voice is much louder than our voice. I'm not sure that is still the case. But we will collaborate. Yes.
Honorable members, this is a good time to put a question that the sum stated for Agency 31, Program 311, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Please turn to pages 174 and 175. And I propose a question that the sum stated for program 312 Public Works stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Mr.
Honorable
Chair,
Member-
Mr. Chair, if I'm, that is what we just finished. We have to go to pages 170. We just finished Public Works. We go to Transport, 313, sir. Page 170.
313. I propose a question that the sum stated for program 313 current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Hastings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Line item 6255, maintenance of water infrastructure. Honorable Minister, does this line item cater for rehabilitation or maintenance of airstrips? If that is so, how much is allocated? How much of this sum is allocated towards the completion of the airstrip at Parima? And why and when can the residents expect its completion? Thank you.
Minister.
Mr. Chair, construction of airstrips are a capital project. This is maintenance. There are 120 plus airstrips in Guyana. 78 are under the control of the Ministry of Public Works. There are 54 that are active, 54. This sum here is for the maintenance of those airstrips, ensuring the windsocks are in order, it's properly weeded, the approach is kept clear, visibility for the pilots, and so on. As it relates to the issue of Parima, because it's a matter of concern, the contractor that is working on the Parima airstrip at no cost to the government has to get the problems there fixed. And as far as I'm aware, the last report I had a week ago from the engineer is that work is ongoing. The airstrip is currently closed and it will be reopened as soon as that work is complete in a matter of a few months. A few months, not a lot. A few months. A few months.
Thank you.
Honorable Member, Ms. Honorable Members, I know.
Sir.
Honorable Member, Mr. Michael.
Thank you, Comrade Chair. Comrade Chair, just to follow up on that same answer, could the Honorable Minister say what is the status and intention with the Wakenham airstrip in the Essequibo River that has been constructed for a while and is in a terrible state? I know that money is being given to the Wakenham NDC for maintenance, but when one looks at that, and when one looks at that airstrip, or what is supposed to be an airstrip, it's an eyesore. And I know Minister Indar will agree with me because he frequents the island. Can we have an update on that Wakenham airstrip and what really is the intention with that airstrip? Thank you.
Minister.
Mr. Chair, I wanted to be properly advised so I can give the honorable member the answer. We spend about $1 million in the maintenance of what is. The operation of that airstrip is a different matter. Who will go there? And remember, the industry determines where they fly. The government, the GCAA, regulates. If the industry start doing flights or people wanting flights to Wakenham. We are maintaining the airstrip at the level as is, but the industry will have to determine if they are flying there, they're doing charters or what. But there's $1 million for the maintenance of what is at Wakenham.
Chairman,
MP
a
Maipol.
follow-up, thank you. Is that $1 million per year?
For years, sir.
Sir, may I implore on the Honorable Minister, and I'm sure Minister Indar, his other minister there, would agree with me that looking at that airstrip, which was constructed, I think, in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, it is my view, sir, and I'm sure that Minister Indar would agree with me, that $1 million has never been spent to maintain that airstrip, and perhaps there is need for us to look at what is happening with that $1 million, because, as I said, it's overgrown with bushes, cows, goats, donkeys, everything you can think about that has four legs, are using it to graze and so on. And I don't think we're getting value for that money, and perhaps you should take a closer look at whether it is maintained or not. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Minister?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. $1 million works out to just about $85,000 a month in terms of weeding, and we will certainly take note of your concerns. But we can anticipate new things happening in Wakenham and in Leg 1. Because I'm sure you would like to tell the House that Wakenham and Leg 1 has never looked as nice as it is right now. Accessibility to everywhere, every street in Wakenham and every street in Leg 1 is being built. So I'm sure that with the kind of new revival and the dynamics of the area, we will be able to do that. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Minister, I am anticipating. Seems like the Honorable Mr. Mahipal will be campaigning by plane. So please, fix the airstrip. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Program 313 Transport, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated stands part of the estimates. Please turn to page 504. And I propose a question that the sum stated for Agency 31, Program 311, capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. I put a question that, and remember, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, may I turn your attention and that of the honorable member to project code 12-14-800. 12-14-800. Government buildings. Mr. Chair, to the honorable member, I recognize that the ministry is requesting the sum of $1,800,000,000. When I went to the profile document, all right, $1,086,000,000. Stand corrected, sir. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, sorry, when I went to the project file, I recognize this sum will cater for 2 buildings. And you know, one is very dear to my heart. That's the 12-story complex that I'm still looking for, but I'll get to that in a short while. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, I recognize also that the sum will cater for the upgrade of the facility at Caldergen on the east coast of Demerara. So my first question to the honorable member is for him to provide a disaggregation of what will go for this 12-story mysterious building and what will go for the upgrade facility at Caldergen. That's my first question, Mr. Chair, to the honorable member.
Mr. Minister,
It's a simple disaggregation, so it's not going to take long. The $86 million will be used at Caldergen to develop a base, what you call it, a heavy equipment base. It's not just concrete, but putting in a heavy equipment base so that the machines and so on could comfortably rest there. And the $1 billion is for the continuation of works, both in terms of supervision and construction at the new office complex.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Honorable Member. Mr. Chair, this $1 billion that is being requested for this mysterious 12-story building will now give us a total figure of $8.6 billion from 2022 to 2025. But Mr. Chair, I have news for the honorable member, because I visited, and this is what I'm seeing, or I've seen on the location: trucks mooring in to load up with aggregates and stone. This is what is happening on the site. This is what is happening. This photo was taken, I think, on the 17th of January, 2025, just before the budget was presented. Mr. Chair, I am concerned because the honorable member, when I run out, the honorable member just run out behind me to give updates. And you would recall, I recognize on January 2nd, 2025, the bishop, the very goodly man, I'm sorry you're in this hot seat, boy, but you got to take the blows and come clean. So, Mr. Chair, I recognize my boy went to the location, and I don't know where he was, on what he was pointing at, right? So this is my boy, January 2nd. And this is what the honorable member had to say at his site visit. By the end of January, I guess he's referring to 2025, you will be seeing much more work being done on site. While not fully satisfied, I am pleased we are getting ahead and we are able to cross some of the hurdles and we are getting this done quickly. Now, my question to the honorable member, Mr. Chair, can you provide to this National Assembly a status report on where we are with regards to this 12-story mysterious build office complex that I am looking for? Mr. Chair, may I also say, as I'm on my feet, breakdown going up after. Breakdown police station, still up in the air already. King's Jewelry World, hotel gone up already. Aiden by Western at Rob and Ornock Street, up already. They're finished. I don't know what is happening to this 12-story complex. So can the honorable member provide an update and let us know how the 7.6 billion spent today and what is 1 billion will take care of? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Ferguson, for your question. And I'm happy, I always tell the truth. It ain't got nothing to do with whether I'm in Parliament or anywhere, so I always tell the truth. The issue that the Honorable Member is raising, she's correct. I visited the site with my project team, observing the driving of piles. The driving of piles for the utility section. And just to remind, it is not a 12-story office complex. It is 4 towers, 12 stories. 4 towers, 12 stories. And all the time I've said that. 4 towers, 12 stories that could accommodate 6,000 staff. If you are listening, you would have heard that every time. And I've shown the nation pictures of the artistic design, 4 towers at all material times. And all the geniuses that exist in the engineering field, whether we are qualified or we have made ourselves self-appointed engineers, will know that if you're putting up 4 towers, 12 stories high, the foundation is very, very important, and you've got to get it right. I have reported to this House that we have moved the site from where I initially indicated that it would be on Heroes Highway, and we directed you to where it is now. Could I be allowed to speak? I didn't disturb you. You want to get a status report? I'm giving it to you. The design build contract is subject to reviews by the consultant. The consulting firm in this place is, in this instance, is VICAB. When I went on January 2nd, is because they did all of the tests at the various areas, got the readings to ensure that we had the correct measurement of the piles and the quality of the piles that needed to be done. And they were actively driving piles in the utility section, and they're to move to the actual Tower 1, driving of piles. I'm happy that you have a photograph, but you should have updated yourself since then, because the media was with me when I went. I didn't hide anything from people. I took the media so they could report it. That's how you got the story. We are in for full disclosure. We know this issue is one that concerns the people of Guyana. So I took the media with me when I went. I would invite you, if you'd like to accompany me, to get on site where you could see properly, and not just from the roadway, what is actually happening, what is on site. But let me give you a status report. Oh. So, the overarching goals of this project is to convert and consolidate, I should say, consolidate various government offices into a single hub for better interconnectivity and interagency collaboration. When we relocated the facility there, it's because we realized that we made a decision that we will not just go down from the roundabout to connect with the Ogle Eccles Road with 2 lanes. We modified the contract, expanded for 4 lanes. The connection when you come over the bridge into Heroes Highway, or you're coming from the East Coast, one of the greatest points of accessibility is where the office complex is being put. We have moved from 7 acres to 20 acres. 13 acres is being used to build the office complex, and the 7 acres is where the special projects unit with its machinery and equipment will operate from. So 20 acres of land will be for the ministries and the special projects unit. With that, we had to recreate the footprint, which I said is done. And as I stand here, I checked with the engineers because I'm anticipating you. The engineer came from the site to this meeting and they were actively driving piles to Tower 1. 13 acres for the office complex and 7 acres for the special projects unit. Cabinet has since approved the travel of our engineer to go and inspect the factories and the materials that are still yet to be shipped. But I can tell you what we have right now. So the gen sets out of Panama, the GPRI for the supply and delivery of 198 piles, 18 by 18 and 16 by 16 at 105 feet long. Structural steel from Classic Heavy Industry Group Company in China. Pre-stressed hollow core slabs from Turkey and the rebars from Colombia. The contractor has been paid his mobilization advance, like I reported, and the normal percentage, sir. Nothing fishy, the normal percentage. And we have paid for materials. This 1 billion that is being sought is to facilitate payment for both the supervisory consultant and other costs that will come with the construction. Once you get your heavy loading in of the materials, it's a steel structure. And while I know you're being very impatient, because you would like to see the completed tower so you could admire the work of the PPPC, you will get an opportunity to do that very shortly. The efforts that are being made to get this done is moving ahead. And that's where we are.
Thank you, Minister. MP Ferguson.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I listened to the honorable member. Though not satisfied, but I'll move on. No, hear me out. Yeah, on the same thing, leader. No, I'm moving out from this. I'm questioning. Yeah. Sometime last year, I heard by, I think, some press conference that this engineer, cabinet approved the travel of this engineer. You've just identified 4 areas, 4 countries where these steels and materials are being fabricated and made. Panama, China, Turkey, and Colombia. Is it fair, can I ask whether cabinet has granted the approval for this, whether a staff or 2, to travel to all these countries to inspect these steel frames that are being fabricated? That's one. And secondly, when the staff is expected to travel and how long? For what period? Thirdly, you made mention that the contractor has been paid mobilization funds. 7.6 billion as of 31st of December 2024. Can you say what is the total sum that the contractor has been paid to date? That's the first question.
The engineer is going to Colombia next week. So that's one. Number 2, cabinet has approved, because you know the system, you were a minister of the government. Government officers traveling overseas must have cabinet approval, but the contract provides for the contractor, the consultant, and the government's engineer to verify. There are 6 purchase orders that were honored, totaling $4 billion and 22,829,000. 6 purchase orders. And the 6 purchase orders I told you were for the gensets, the GPI right for the supply and delivery of piles, the structural steel from Classic Heavy Industry Group, Company Limited in China, the pre-stressed hollow blocks core slabs from Turkey, and the rebars out of Colombia. All of these areas will be visited in a matter of months. We're structuring it, and that's what we do.
Mr. Chairman,
Leader of the opposition.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask the Honorable Minister to tell us what percentage of this money is being spent on foundation, what percentage will be spent on towers, and what percentage was delivered for mobilization? Or amounts, both percentage or amounts?
Thank you, Leader of the Opposition, for your question. I could inform you that this project is a design-build project. It's a design-build project. The total mobilization advance that was paid was 2.6 billion. A total of 1.837,932,278 billion was repaid on the IPC1. A balance of 762 million remains outstanding on the mobilization advance. We have paid the 4 billion, 22,829,877. We have paid that in the 6 purchase orders. And then you could put your figures together and you'll see where we are. The 1 billion is to continue paying the supervisory, consultant, and whatever else need to be paid this year as the building advances.
Leader of the opposition.
The Honorable Member didn't answer the question, what is the cost of the foundation and what is the cost for the remainder of the...
I could actually get that to the Parliament if you so desire from the consultant and the contractor, what is being spent on foundation and what is being spent on. We don't have it here with us, but in a design build environment, because you could only pay Honorable Member Mr. Patterson for work that is delivered. And the work that has been delivered on the IPC, on IPC1, which is deducted from the mobilization, is 1.8 billion.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a member, Honorable Member, am I to infer from what you're saying that you do not have a plan which says, if I build in a little house, a little puku house, we just get foundation, core wall, are you saying to me, Honorable Minister, that you have to wait to tell us what the foundation will cost, what the towers will cost on some, explain for me, I'm in trouble.
Minister, on trouble, Leader of the opposition.
Mr. Chairman, I indicated that we could easily get that information to hand over to the House. We don't have it here with us. But if you're going to be doing a project of this magnitude, you must have the cost breakdown. And there is a FIDIC engineer. Apart from the ministry's engineer, there's a FIDIC engineer that is overseeing the project. And you could only pay based upon the approvals that come from the FIDIC engineer. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Leader of the opposition.
could the Honorable Minister tell us, in 2023, you paid 2654.387 billion. What was that paid for?
The mobilization advance, Honorable Leader of the
Good.
Opposition.
And then 2023 again, 4 billion plus. What was that for?
I have just outlined to the House the 6 purchase orders.
This is true.
Honorable Member Patterson.
Right, sir, just for completeness, sir. 6 purchase orders, that's to the contractor, sir. Who is the consultant? His contract sum and how much you paid to him.
Minister.
Mr. Chair, the consultant came through a public procurement process, and the name of the consultant is VICAB Engineering.
Yeah.
The contract sum? 1 second. One second, Mr. Chairman, they're getting it off the system. We'll get that figure for the honorable member. They're trying to retrieve it from the system.
Ms. Patterson.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, have you recognized me?
I did.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mr. Chair, quoting from an article carried by Guyana Chronicle on the 21st of January 2024, headlined, "Work to commence soon on 15.8 billion state-of-the-art government complex." Here, my Honorable the Bishop, the article is quoting him as saying that the contract for the facility was signed on December 30th, 2022 with Caribbean Green Building Inc. and is set to be completed within 30 months of the beginning of construction. So 2024 finished, there's 12 months. 2023 finished, another 12 months. So there's 24 months in total with the spill-off we had from 2022. So can the honorable member, one, state whether this project is lagging behind, the reason for it lagging behind? Thirdly, whether this very contractor has the capacity to do the project, since this very contractor, Mr. Chair, is currently building the Sheraton 4 Point Hotel. My question to the honorable member. Thank you very much.
Before, I did call Patterson instead of Ferguson. You're correct.
Because I heard you said Patterson,
Sorry,
so I'm
my apologies,
Ferguson.
my apologies.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, there's always a difficulty in answering the same question over and over and over. I'm coming clean with you. I told this House before that even though the contract was signed, we did not issue the commencement order because we were changing the location. We brought that to the House.
Yes, you did.
I have said that repeatedly. So as the status now from the time of the commencement order, 10% of the project is physically completed, while 34% of the time has elapsed. That's where we are. 34% of the time for construction has elapsed. 10% of the work has been completed. That's where we are as a current status update.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, this would give me an
Leader of the
idea.
opposition.
This would give me an idea, Mr. Chair. You want to go?
I already said leader of the
They
opposition.
provide in these projects for employment impact of the project, number of workers to be employed. in this case in 2025, none is provided. Could you say to answer those questions for us? The employment impact and how many workers are employed at this stage on the project? Yeah.
Minister.
I will help the honorable leader of the opposition and Mr. Patterson to the question they were inquiring. The consultancy contract to VICAB is for 1,032 million. 32 million. Well, I'm sure you dealt with him before, so you should know that. Good. The second thing is, on site, the honorable leader of the opposition is about 32 persons are working on site. But a project of this size, because of what is happening in the various areas, have people working off site. And I've said that to this house before. You will be seeing it soon.
I think this will be my final question.
Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, to the honorable member. Your response to the project lagging behind, you said 34%, right? So would it be safe for me to ask you when exactly the project will commence and whether there's a new timeline for the completion of this project? And if there's a new timeline for completion, can you say when exactly that new timeline is? Thank you very much.
Minister.
The commencement order was February. The commencement order to begin was February 23rd, 2024. 30 months remain. The project is to be completed by August of 2026. August 2026.
Well, you'll inherit it. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much. The honorable member failed to answer part of a question put to him.
I don't know what failed. The minister answered.
Probably.
Whether you didn't get the answer you want to hear is
All
another
right.
story.
Okay, Mr. Chair. I asked the question whether the contractor, Green Building Construction, Inc., has the capacity to commence the project, since that very contractor is currently working on the Sheraton 4 Point Hotel on parallel to the Hero Highway.
Minister, capacity.
Mr. Chair, the evaluation of the contractors' technical capacity and financial capacity is something that is done not by me. It is done by the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board. When that contract is negotiated and offered, the ministry executes. But as far as I'm aware, the contractor is getting his work done. Unlike the honorable member, Ferguson indicated that while I am not satisfied, and I use those languages, that language to the contractor on site, we have issued a commencement order on February 23rd, 2024. We have reported to this house the relocation. So this is not news that we are making now. I addressed this at a press conference at the end of year 2023. We came to 2024 budget and we spent at least 40 minutes on this particular subject. If there are concerns about a matter, those concerns like we would have seen happen here, should be raised. But we should never use the parliament to create impressions that don't exist. If, and I'm saying to you, just like we would have done with every other contractor, we have done this with every other contractor who hasn't performed. They get their letters of poor performance. And out of the thousands of 5,000 or more contracts that we presided over in 2024, less than 1% had to be terminated or disbanded. Less than 1% of 5,000. Tell me about that performance. Our engineers and our managers are doing their best to ensure, one, we get value for money in terms of quality, time, delivery, and while we are doing our work, minimum interference to the population and ensuring safety. Clear policy directives of how we are going forward. If this contractor, I'm telling you now, if this contractor cannot deliver, we get the early warning signs, so we have to start serving letters of poor performance. I will accompany you to go to the site with me when we will deliver the termination letter. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Chairman, in normal economics and project management, if there is overrun in a project, the cost is likely to go up. Could you assure this House that this project will be done at the stated cost? And if you can't, what projections you have as to where the costs will go and therefore what it will cost the people of Guyana?
Minister?
Yes. Mr. Chair, this is a fixed price contract. This is a fixed price contract, and we have communicated explicit, both in writing in the contract and as well as at our project meetings. This project has to be delivered as designed, at cost, within the time frame. It is explicit.
Mr. Chair, my last,
Go ahead.
My last question on this this line item is that I would like to request that since this building is $15.8 billion, for the honorable member to lay in this National Assembly all the project documents commencing with the contract. Thank you very much.
Will the minister lay?
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure I can do that. You have to guide me. I'm not, there's nothing to hide, but then I should be putting everybody's contract who is doing everything in the newspapers. I'm not sure I could do that. I'd have to be guided. I'm not sure I can do that.
Thank you, Minister.
There are dangers that are involved in that because shakedowns and so on could take place, and there are dangers involved.
Thank you, Minister. Leader of the Opposition.
Are you saying, honorable member, that this House, which people elected, that are responsible for representing them, cannot be told the details of a contract involving 15 billion plus?
All of the details of the contract that is for public consumption I've already given. Any document, Mr. Chair, please advise the Leader of the Opposition, any document that is laid in this Parliament is not only for members of Parliament, it goes to the media and it becomes part of the public record where any citizen with good intent or bad intent can have access to it. That's what I'm saying.
And could I ask you what is wrong with that? You are trying to suggest to us that there is some confidentiality clause in it. If there isn't, then it follows ipso facto that you're obligated to table it here.
You know,
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, and I could be guided by the Honorable Member, the Minister of Finance, and I'm no novice around this House since I've served before. And I was in Parliament in the opposition. And I would like any member of the then government to stand up and tell which contract was given to the parliament and to the public. Name the contract, including the leader of the opposition. Don't ask for something that you know got consequences that when you were in the seat, you did not do. Please, don't create illusions that don't exist. There is a contract that is there. There's a FIDIC contractor, a consultant that is supervising the execution of the contract. This contract has to be audited by the Auditor General. All of the queries that you will have will come from an audit report. But while a contract is being executed, Mr. Patterson, who served as Minister of Public Infrastructure, and the Honorable Member Annette Fergus, who served as Minister within the ministry, please name and tell the Guyanese people this afternoon which contract being executed by you when you were to ministry you led in this National Assembly.
Mr. Chair, I was trying to urge my colleagues to go on.
Name the contract.
Sir, the renovation CGIA, every single document, I personally walked over and handed to the honorable member who was the thing, so personally.
Okay.
And he has a staff there.
Mr. Patterson, hold on.
No, I wanted to move on, but he called my name.
But just hold on. I am listening carefully. Laying over means we're tabling everybody and everybody get it. Personally walking over
Sir,
and handing is a different story.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, I handed his personally and then I gave it to the staff. And then there is the clerk right there.
Okay.
Then I gave him, but I handed it personally just because there's
now
always a rumor that the staff did not give him.
You can move on then. You were saying you were going to move on to, okay. So we will check that, right? Honourable members, this is a good time to put a question that the sum stated for program 311. Capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. We now move to program 312, page 504 and 505. And I propose the question that the sum stated herein. Capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Mr. Patterson, honorable member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm New Demerara, Demerara Harbour Bridge, sir. I'm reading from the honorable members. I'm reading from the capital profiles. Do you want me to give you the line item? I'm reading from the capital profile. Sir, you have $450 million here for the Demerara Harbour Bridge, and it says gantry, posts, anchors, chains, patrol boat, which is very, very good, sir. It have no problem at all, sir, with the allocation. Just let me ask, sir, this is to be done immediately because on the 1st of September, this would be no longer needed from the 1st of September, sir. So this procurement will be done to ensure between now and August the 31st. First question.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, honorable minister.
I have elucidated on the matter of the Demerara Harbour Bridge in this house too often. Tomorrow morning, there'll be an extra 30 minutes of the opening of the bridge, because the staff who work there day and night to minimum interruption of traffic use the time when we are passing through marine traffic, whether southbound or northbound, to do maintenance work. Trucks, articulated vehicles, even though managing at 18 tons, the way they drive on the bridge, have been destroying components of the bridge, including end posts. The $450 million that we are asking for is for the procurement of anchor chains, 116. fabrication of 310 feet deck plates, procurement, 120 million. Procurement and operation of patrol boat, 95 million. Rehabilitation of 60 end posts, 54 million. Rehabilitation of gantry, 45 million. Rehabilitation of the dredge, 20 million. Just the other day, you would have seen the Facebook post that Span 10 encountered a little problem, and they've noted they got it fixed within 30 minutes, the impatience that existed and the comments. This is just to keep the bridge operational. And I think I said, and I repeat again, that when we were asking the House for money for Span 9, when this bridge becomes, the new bridge becomes operational, the Demerara Harbour Bridge will not be scrap iron. There are places that the bridge can be used. So it's not money that is being thrown in the fire. It's to keep it going and to ensure that when we have to move it elsewhere, we got a proper bridge to do. So I'm sure you're supporting that.
Mr. Chair, I mean, I never queried the need for it. I said the bridge was an old girl, 47 years old, you know what I mean? I just wanted to ensure that I got what the allocation is right. So therefore now I move on to my more substantive question. Sir, what happens to the Demerara Bridge Corporation on the 1st of September 2025, sir? Because 31st of August is the drop dead date. There are 155 employees, sir. They will no longer be needed. There's no tolls collecting. There's no bridge to maintain, sir. So I want to make sure that's why I asked my question, what is catered for? So where is the severance pay for the workers catered for? That, sir, is what I would like to, because of course, I mean, obviously, as you said, the new bridges wouldn't be scrap iron. So can I ask the Honorable Minister, sorry, and this question came to me from the employees. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I don't want to doubt the honorable member that this question came from the employees. But it didn't. Well, I have already assured all of the employees on the first working day of the year, and the general manager is here, I went to every agency under my supervision or our supervision, and I spoke with the workers. And the reality of the new bridge coming into being was discussed with them. And I can stand here as a representative of the government of Guyana, the Irfan Ali-led PPPC administration, and say to the workers and to all their families that are listening to me, this caring government will not throw any of them to the curb because of a new bridge. We will not do that. It's not our DNA. It's not our modus operandi. It's not our conscience. We are a caring government. But listen, the Demerara Harbour Bridge, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation have some of the finest welders that this country has. Mr. Patterson knows that. These men go out when it's raining, Mr. Jones, and they weld, and they fix things. Their services will always be needed. We haven't gotten to the place of severance. They may continue to be employed somewhere. If we are moving the bridge to take it to some other location, you know, they got to carry it. They have to dismantle it. They have to fix it back. So let's not use the parliament, which makes laws, to formulate policy. Policy is formulated at the level of the executive, which is the cabinet. We make laws here. And when the policy is set out and it is clear, we will make that public to everybody. Thank you.
Sorry, I lead the opposition. So I am pleased on behalf of the 155 employees of the new Demerara Harbour Bridge that come 1st of September that the minister said he is making an application for them. Can I ask the minister where? Where in this budget have you allocated to, because obviously, sir, they will be earning no revenue. Where will the cleaners go, sir? Because they can't well. Where will the toll booth attendants go, sir? And where is the money allocated in this budget?
Mr. Chairman, grandstanding is not something that I enjoy. But if grandstanding is required, I will grandstand. I will grandstand if that is what is required. The 155 workers that Mr. Patterson is talking about at the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation, they have a union. A union that you particularly don't like. GAU. Their union is GAU. There's a GAU representative who sits on the board of the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation who represent the workers. Mr. Patterson does not represent the workers of the Demerara Harbour Bridge. Their union represents them. So if we're going to have grandstanding, I will grandstand in the parliament. I am saying, because I'm not going to allow fear and pandemonium and panic to go to the people thinking that, hey, these people can throw us off the line. That is what this is going into, and I take serious umbrage concerning it. You are not the representative of the workers, the union is. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to repeat for the Committee of Supply and all the people of Guyana, we at the appropriate time, with policy direction formulated at the Cabinet, will engage the workers and the workers' union about the future of the workers, ensuring that none of them is thrown to the curb. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Chairman, permit me to correct at least one falsehood. It is said that the Parliament does not formulate policy. It does legislation. May I indicate to you that when a policy like you adopted in this Parliament, a U policy was adopted in this Parliament, it was adopted. And policy can come to the Parliament. May I go to your second contention? It is true that in the realms,
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, you're asking a question or you're making a
I
statement?
didn't hear that. Let me just think and then I'll ask this question.
No, we are asking.
I'm asking, huh?
Could the Parliament allow me to address the Leader of the Opposition? We are asking questions pertaining to this line item and the policies for which this allocation is fair game. But now we're giving a lecture with respect to overall policy and what could come to the Parliament and what could not. If we have something relating, I thought you were standing to say the Parliament represents everybody and this is our business too. Isn't that so,
I will ask a
Mr.
question.
Minister? Good.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll ask a question, but don't forget, it is he who promised to grandstand. The question I want to ask you is, what is the plan for the workers from the bridge company?
And that was asked. Honorable Minister, you have another opportunity to...
For the purposes of clarity, sir, policies are made by the executive. It can be brought to the Parliament to be adopted, but we don't sit in a committee of supply to make policy. That's the point I'm making. And that is what I was addressing. Secondly, the Parliament does not make policy. The Parliament make laws. The executive make policies. The issue that is at hand is that we as a government would like to assure all the people
Mhm.
of the Demerara Harbour Bridge. And I dare say to you, they have never been this comfortable in terms of being compensated in the history. They are satisfied. The management that is there, the new management that is there, has earned their stripes of ensuring that the workers' welfare is taken care of, because people come first for us. Things come after. That is our policy. People come first. We love people and use things. We don't love things and use people. That is the difference here on this side of the house.
Honorable members, I think this is a good time to put the question.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead. Here we are 312.
pardon?
We're 312, capital?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So,
And you said, I put the question before?
you are going to put the question, so I asked
Go ahead.
for 312. So it's still open.
It's still open.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, the new this is capital profile, sir. The new Demerara Bridge crossing, sir. Of course, this year 20.1554. 3 months ago, there's 4 months ago, sir, mid-year, there's a big press conference which put the bridge at 70% completed. The bridge themselves are set out, they won't be completed to the end of the year, sir. And then it's a drop dead date of the 31st of August 2025. That's a drop dead date, sir. And then, so I would like to ask 2 questions of the ministers, sir. What is it, how much work, what percentage of work would they have done for you since your last major announcement of 17? What's the current percentage? Are there any claims
Minister?
outstanding, sir?
Mr. Chair, I would have loved to avoid having to respond to such a question. But I could read what our report said. The project was 78% completed. 61.72 of the bridge was completed. We had the landmark event when girders started to be installed. But the honorable member asking the question fully well knows that we could not have handed over the right of way to the contractor because that he knows the because. We approached the courts because we were working out compensation and relocation benefits with everybody. That is within the alignment of the East Bank Public Road and the water side on the eastern side of the bridge. Mr. Chair, this bridge could have been advanced. And Mr. Patterson knows, the honorable member, that when you're doing construction, time after the pouring of concrete, before you could proceed to the next level and proceed to the next level, it got to cure. And we lost time because we couldn't put down the piers in the section that the honorable member, Mr. David Patterson, was a quantity surveyor, that give people valuations that built an expectation that was way beyond the sky, that the courts did not even honor. So, and I've said it here in the parliament, and I've said it before, politics played an important role in the delaying of this bridge because persons closely aligned to the opposition worked with those residents to block their moving, to delay this bridge. And I can take me wherever you want to take me on this. Take me to the Privileges Committee if you want to take me. Carry me wherever you want to carry me. Sue me if you want to sue me. I have the evidence. The honorable member did not even show up in court to defend his valuation. If you give people a valuation, go in court and defend it. Go in court and defend it. And Mr. Chairman, you know what he said? The people.
Hold a minute, Minister. Are you standing on a point of order?
Yes, sir. Ask him to withdraw that, sir.
Withdraw what?
That I never represented the people, sir, every single day, and I stand by it. And if the honorable member, sir,
hold a second. Hold a second, please. I asked you if you were standing on a point, or you said yes, right? So you tell me first what's the point of order,
sir,
and then I make a ruling on that. You don't proceed to make a speech.
Very good, sir. My apologies, sir.
Accepted.
Right. Sir, the honorable member has imputed that I declined or never went to represent clients on a case.
Honorable Minister, I didn't hear you fully, but if you're saying that he represented clients rather than giving valuation, it's two different things. So you
Mr. Chair, let me make it pellucid for the people of Guyana.
Okay, don't make it pellucid. I'll check the records, and if you're saying that he represented people, we'll strike
I am
it.
saying that he provided valuations.
That's what I thought that is what I thought I heard. The honorable member is saying something else, so we'll have to check.
And when we went to court, the government went to court to ask an impartial arbiter to set the price for compensation to the good citizens of Guyana. Because if you weren't satisfied with what the government was offering, let a court of competent jurisdiction and an independent arbiter declare the sum. That's all we went to court for.
Right.
Mr. Patterson could have gone to the court to defend his
But you're imputing the hold on, honorable member, please. I don't know if it's his responsibility to go to court.
No, but sir, I did go to court.
And you did go to court.
Yes, that's the talk. Martin said that one thing, he should be withdrawing.
So that should be withdrawn. He went to court.
On several occasions.
Mr.
Bart
Chair,
Smith was his lawyer. Sorry,
Mr. Chair, I don't want to go into all the details. He probably sat in the court. But did he defend his figures in court?
Every penny.
Did not.
Every single penny.
So the honorable member,
the world is what he ended up paying.
Honorable Bishop, Minister, the MP is saying that he did. So
Chair,
let's proceed.
I'll proceed. But I follow this. Mr. Leader of the Opposition, let's be fair. The truth cannot be hid. It don't need crutches. People know. Let us say it. The people who did not even have title to land, we offered them a titled property, plus money for the moving, plus money for their moving. The court ruled that they were not entitled to land. They just got the money. The person who stood up publicly with her cell phone that was shown to the whole world that Bishop Edgell is bullying them ended up at my office trying to work out a deal because they didn't even have title or ownership to the property. And that is what politicians were doing. All of the cases were settled. Every single one was settled. And the 3 remaining cases that there was some dispute about the compensation, we agreed with the court that we will lodge a specific sum with the registrar until those matters are determined. And in one case, one of the persons who were acting, behaving as if they had the title, we had to even agree with the court because he didn't have any legal entitlement to the money that was being paid to him. All of the persons, we paid their rent to move to a house while they're under construction. Staff from my ministry went with the high-up trucks and laborers to move people's furnishings with clear instructions. Nothing should be damaged. We had an instance where somebody was having mental health challenges. We stayed the operation until that person was stabilized. The husband and the family moved and the person returned. We failed to demolish because people's welfare comes before things. And in every instance, the PPPC government treated the people there with care and ensured that whatever was required, my permanent secretary is sitting right here. As the judge made the orders, the checks were written immediately. As the judge made the orders, and we got the orders, checks were made and paid. But, thing on to do with time, it got to do with the truth. Because we would like to come now and say the bridge is delayed, but the bridge is delayed because of actions taken. And it's the same thing that happened elsewhere. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Mr. Chair, we will address his points otherwise. But every citizen, by law, has the right, sir, to carry anything to court. And they have the right to choose a lawyer and representatives who they want, who they feel are competent, irrespective, sure, of the opinion of the minister. Sir, and what the people of this country would really like to know, sir.
Honorable Member, I think you don't have another question.
No, sir, I'm moving on.
So
then.
please.
So I'm moving on, sir. And just in passing, maybe the honorable minister would like to lay here, be transparent, and tell them how much he paid. Sir, the East Coast, East Bank, Demerara Road linkage. Sir, 7.74 billion is allocated, sir. Can the honorable minister say the status of the project and, sir, the status of the project for us, sir?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, my engineer is going to just give me one piece of guidance. Mr. Chair, this project, even though criticized during the general debate that it is behind time, is 94% completed. We have also ensured that the connector at Higgs Bush Road moved from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. And all of that is being completed before February end of this year.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, and this is also a good time to thank the people, the residents of Ogle, who we had to acquire property from. And it shows the difference of when human beings act as patriots and as citizens as against when they're politically inspired and counseled. The people of Ogle, the 3 families who have given us, based upon our law, to acquire and pay compensation, Because they want the road to be done in a timely manner, even before everything was completed, they give us access to the property that we wanted. What a big difference. 94% completed. If you hear the prices.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad he's completed. Sir, Mr. Chair and Mr. Opposition Leader, they probably treated him like a person at lot 55 Peters Hall, where they paid him $55 million, and the one next door, they only want to pay $14 million. But, sir,
I'm going to put this head if you continue to make these
I was just educating the
rather than,
opposition
right?
leader, sir.
Please, come
Sir,
on. We have time,
sir, I have time,
but
sir, we
your
have time.
interventions are not
Sir,
questions.
my apologies, sir.
You're asking now for a comparison between compensation at Ogle versus Peters.
I was just responding to the opposition leader, sir. My apologies. Sir, I'm moving on, sir. Highway improvement East Coast. Sir, the $17.477 billion, sir, and it's for 5 programs. 5, according to the profile on. Sir, can the honorable minister be kind enough to disaggregate them? Tell us the percentage completed and the completion date for 1, 2, 3. Sir, the whole bridge. No. And sir, the feasibility studies and design at 5, sir. What are they? When were they done? Or when will they be done?
Minister?
For the avoidance of doubt that anyone could claim discrimination, the compensation paid to the people at Ogle, none of them exceeded $2 million. Silence in the house. None of them exceeded $2 million. Land. Yeah, make excuses now. Mr. Chair, the 4-way, 4-lane road that is being built from Cherry Street to Orange Nassau, and the upgrade of the road from Belfield to Mahika is moving apace. And we have a major challenge. The transmission lines are in the alignment of the road. And while you would have seen work being done, we understand the frustration of the people every time there's a power outage. And we have worked with the Chinese to develop a methodology of how we can get sections of the road completed and usable while we are waiting to move the transmission lines. The transmission lines will be moved to the backlands, which will be as part of the integrated upgrade of GPL. The only other place we had to move the transmission lines was towards the seawall. And the residents and the good people of the East Coast cried against it because kite flying is still a big issue in Guyana, and we don't want anybody being electrocuted. So right now, there are 6 contractors that have been awarded contracts to the building of the road at the back, so we could get access to put in the transmission lines. And while the contractor continues to build out on the 3 lanes that is available to them until we get to move the transmission lines. Since you managed, well, I wouldn't say managed, since you were the minister responsible for GPL when you were in office, you will know that in order to de-energize the transmission lines on the railway embankment, we have to energize the one at the back first. So we are working with GPL and the contractor and all the parties involved, but we are working to get that thoroughfare fixed. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, we used to have major problems on the East Bank, and I know you lived at Eccles, and you would be caught, before Heroes Highway, you would be caught in that congestion on a daily basis trying to head into Georgetown. Those of us, including the leader of the opposition, depending what time he leaves home, would know that coming off the East Coast right now, the congestion is of a similar nature like what transpires. You could take 30, 40 minutes in traffic to get into Georgetown just because of the volume, and what is taking place. So there is a major upgrade that could also include that you could turn Ogle and you could connect with Aubrey Barker Road. Aubrey Barker Road is being pushed all the way to Ogle. Contractors are working on it right now. So you could come from Ogle, connect with Aubrey Barker. Then you could come Ogle on the same road we were talking about just so that Ashoka Bilkon, the Indians are building, and you could connect with Higgs Bosch. You would be able to connect with the Demerara Harbour Bridge. The contracts for the connector roads of the Demerara Harbour Bridge have already been awarded. Contractors are in place, work has started. We have improved conversation free so that you can have another artery if you're heading south. We've brought it down to Dennis Street. We're now moving it to Francois Avenue. That contract has already been signed and work is taking place. We have you have to come out to Sheriff, and we're going to continue developing as we go along. Dennis Street, the bridge at Dennis Street, which is a choke point because it's narrow, we have to expand that, and we're going to put in 4 lanes at Dennis Street. 2 on the alignment that currently exists, and 2 on the northern side of the trench. The bill so that has already been formulated. So you'll have several possibilities of interacting. When you get out to Mandela, we are currently putting in the street, Mr. Norton and Ms. Ferguson, because you are in that area steady. Sussex Street is connecting from Mandela Avenue all the way down to High Street, and that is being improved.
The Lombard, actually.
Yes. The Princess Street, when you come through Cemetery Road, that some of us thought would never be finished, it is now moving all the way down to High Street. So we're expanding and creating alternatives to deal with the sheer volume and increase in traffic. We got to work with our partners to get this East Coast corridor completed in the shortest possible time, and we are working on it. What's the percentage of work?
Mr. Chairman,
We've completed
The
47%.
leader of the opposition, the minister is on his feet. Let him
Mr.
come.
Chairman,
Yeah.
it is well
You finished here, minister?
Yes, 47% of it is completed.
Okay, go ahead, leader of the
Chairman.
opposition.
it is well established that the way that the roads are being done, it's not solving directional conflicts.
It is what?
It's not solving directional. Could you? It's a straight question. How is this approach going to reduce congestion if it is not dealing with the directional conflicts? That's what I'm asking.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, the last 4 years, we have seen in Guyana significant improvement. Significant improvement to our thoroughfares, geometric improvement at intersections. All of that is being done to deal with traffic flow. Now, the leader of the opposition is raising a point, and he's saying that it is established, but it's not established. It's not. If we have more considerate road use, traffic will be flowing better. Look at the roundabout. A roundabout, you don't stop in a roundabout. So the police have to go there because of the lawlessness in the roundabout. And enforcement, just like we were saying just now about the trucks and the derelicts, it has to be a collective approach where we get people to use, look, on Sheriff Street, there's a cycle lane, and I'm sure you've been undertaken in the cycle lane on Sheriff Street already, in the cycle lane. So the issue here is that we have to get more lanes. We have to get more lanes. We have to be able to get more people participating in cautious, careful, considerate driving and using our roads in a proper way. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Leader of the opposition.
Mr. Chairman, I ask a simple question. How does it deal with directional conflict? Mr. Chairman, I'm being told that it eased congestion, but Sheriff Street was never congested like it is now. I'm asking you these questions. We can condemn people for their attitude. I have no problem with you saying there are problems with our driver's attitude. But the question of coming out from Mocha or Eccles or any one of them on that highway has nothing to do with attitude. It has to do with construction that didn't deal with the directional conflict.
Thank you.
Minister.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chair, I might, in my own manner, describe what the leader of the opposition has just told the nation, that the PPPC administration are now victims of their own success. The volume of traffic has increased because of the policy initiatives that makes it more affordable for car ownership. You see how the series clicking and changing fast. Guyana is a construction zone. Everywhere work is taking place. Trucks that are carried, there's scanters, so there is more traffic. It is the success story that is putting us in the position that we're in, and I'm happy that the leader of the opposition has admired that our policies have created a success, but it has also created a challenge. And we will deal with that challenge. Thank you very much.
Minister, I'm tempted and I'm asking myself if I could ask a question.
I will indulge, Mr. Chairman.
Because I'll stop the clock. I stop the clock. This is the second time I will agree with the opposition leader. No one is studying. Don't tell me about traffic flow. I drive Sheriff Street again, almost twice a day. And it's the most congested time. It's easier for me to go straight across Sandibab, Vlissingen, or go right down and cut through St. Stephen Street and go back. So that's one. And secondly, when we introduce traffic circles, we never teach people how to use it. That is true. The first thing you do is the left lane to go for the first turn off on the second. If you want to go to the third and fourth, the inner lane. Simple. And I think we need to sit down and listen to people, the road users in particular, because some simple, as Sam Hines, former presidents used to say, it's about flows, study flows. I think we've exhausted this. You agree with me, Mr. Patterson?
Sir, I'm not going back on that, sir. I have other questions on this here, sir. Sir, and I 100% agree with you, sir.
Your clock was stopped 3 minutes ago.
Sir, and I 100%. And if it's anything, sir, once again, we on this side give our commitment that we will work on this particular traffic issue anytime with anyone, sir.
I am
Sir,
prepared to volunteer.
Pardon?
I am prepared to volunteer.
Yes, sir, we will, because it is a national issue.
Even
Sir.
Minister Ben will tell you when we first introduced traffic lights, I had to intervene.
Yes, sir. So, sir, we an item on that. Sir, I'm moving on.
You still have 12 minutes remaining.
Yes, that's why I'm moving on, sir. Linden Mabura, sir. This project, sir, was supposed to be completed. It's not. I would like to provide a status update, sir. And the question of claims, and notice the opposition wasn't there involved. Sir, the contract was halted last year, June, for several months, sir. Can the honorable member say what caused that? Has it been resolved? And when can we anticipate, sir, today, 40 of the 147 kilometers were reported completed. When can the country expect this? Okay,
Honorable
40 to
Minister.
121, my bad, 6 bad.
Mr. Chair, this project is lagging. It's 39% complete. It's 39%.
39%.
39% complete. The initial date of completion was June 19, 2025, which is 6 months away. The honorable member has asked about the issue of claims. It is an interesting question because I notice in today's online news, there was a story that is announced that this project is now for December 2025 completion. If that is being mischievous, I don't know. But as the minister responsible, I am unaware of any engagement with my team or with the FIDIC engineer that we have agreed on a December 31st, 2025 completion. So I'm using this opportunity to clarify that. The House and the nation should know that the contractor, after taking the project, came with a number of propositions, trying to use clauses of the contract to say that he's entitled to this and entitled to that. We share differences of views. They invoked price escalation clauses, which went to the DAB. And there have been continuous dialogue and negotiations with the contractor. And at this time, while we are having dialogue and negotiations, when we have not settled on everything, if others would like to be reckless, we as a government will maintain good faith that the ongoing talks and negotiations and settlement, we will not pronounce on that now, but we will say clearly the interests of the people of Guyana will be our #1 priority when we deal with this matter. The government of Guyana has gone past just the Linden Mabura Road. We are looking right now to move the road to Kurupakari. We have 3 lots, Mabura Hill to Kurupakari. All the bridges from Mabura Hill to Kurupakari are under construction, just like how we have completed all the bridges from Kurupakari all the way into Letem. The Prayara, which made the news, we didn't finish it in time. The water came, it was high water, people were seen there with boats. Yes, it was true. The bridge is now completed. And we are looking at an engagement, discussing with different parties of how to make this hemispheric link to be completed in the shortest possible time. So we will continue to engage. The contract is working. And yes, there are issues that are not resolved. We are behind time. And as soon as we could get all of these things worked out, just like we would have done with any other project, we have nothing to hide. We will tell the nation what's going on. But since we are at this stage, I will reserve my right to not prejudice the outcome by only saying where we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable MP Patterson.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm moving on, and I think we have about 15 minutes left, sir.
I have 9 minutes. Not 9, sorry, 7 minutes.
So you have to give me back the time that you used.
I did add back the 3 minutes.
Sorry, but the time before, sir.
But we
Sir,
are arguing.
I move on, sir. I move on, sir.
Just for your, we started at 4 for 2.5 hours. It should be 6:30. So I added 3 minutes to 6:33. I'll give you another minute because of this exchange.
Great, gracious, sir. Sir, I move on, sir. There is the farm access road, sir. There's Parika, Goshen, Macoria, Tamari. Sir, can the Honorable Minister disaggregate those 3 sets? So yes, and give us a contract sum, sir. There are 3 projects there. And the individual percentage completed for the 3 sections, sir, and the anticipated completion date. Sir, farm access roads, sir. Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Parika Goshen Road is being done in phases. And I think I told the House that the bridge across the Bonasika, or the Macauro, Bonasika Creek, the bridge I think is 120 meters or something like that. The bridge across the Bonasika, which will make the link complete, is now out for tendering. On the Sand Hills to Bartica, the bridge at the Macauro Creek, which is, the length is about 50 meters long, that has already been awarded. The bridges from Schoonard all the way through to Parika, we are now out to tender for those bridges. So right now, you can drive from Sand Hills to Falmouth, but you'll have challenges because the bridge is not there depending on the height of the water. The entire alignment from Parika to Goshen has already been cut. The entire alignment from Schoonard to Parika has already been cut. We have been moving this in phases. Thank you.
Honorable Member Patterson.
Sir, just thank you very much for the answer. Very, very clear, sir. So the money that you have allocated here, if I'm listening to you, the $3 billion and what the public can glean are primarily for the bridges, because I actually did to disaggregate it. And you told us the Parika Bridge, the Sand Hill Bridge.
I can give you the disaggregated form.
That's what we asked, sir, and the Bonasika Bridge.
Let me help you. So Molson Creek to El Dorado, you know, we've been building the road from Molson Creek going back in, opening up farmlands to El Dorado, 200. 250 million. Sorry. Molson Creek to El Dorado serves two purposes. That's where we're connecting with the abutment of the Quarantine River Bridge, and we are moving the road in. Right, so that's 700 million. Construction of bridges at Molson Creek is 400, and the continuation of phase 4, 300, that would be 700 million. Tumiri Sand Hills, Makaura Bartica, 350 millions, which is an upgrade of 11 kilometers of sand trail to on-surface fair weather roadway from Sand Hills to Makaura Creek. The Perico Goshen Makaura link, construction of bridges at Maripub main drain and Aliki main drain, 800 million. Construction of culverts between Bonasica River and Iteka, 150 million. Construction of 20 kilometers of on-surface fair weather roadway from Bonasica to Iteka, 1 billion.
Thank you, Minister. MP Patterson. Yeah, you still have 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes, sir. Sir, I still have... Sir, we have here, sir, I just go to, sir, the Linden Susdike Highway. Sir, can the, up the Linden Susdike Highway, sir, two contractors there, sir, Trinidad and a local contractor. Sir, can the minister use it up, say what is complete and when, what percentage complete, and when do we expect this work to be completed?
Honourable Minister.
Here, just to correct one thing, they're not two contractors, it's a joint venture. One contractor. The contract sum is 161 million US, 161,369,374.54 US. Signed on July 19, 2024. Commencement date September 5th, 2024. Contract duration is 2 years, which will be completed by September 2026. Overall progress so far is 10%. We have site mobilization at 3 locations, Madawini, Long Creek, and Moblista. There's stockpiling of materials. You see it all the time when you go on the highway. There's 180,000 tons of white sand, 200,000 tons of loam, 200 tons of aggregate and crusher run. There are 50 containers of bitumen. Equipment mobilization, there are 50 pieces of construction equipment. Surveying is 95% completed. Clearing and grubbing of shoulders, 100% completed. Construction of expanded shoulders, 5%. The preparation of the base has started. Materials testing is 60%. Disbursement so far, 18% of the contract sum has been disbursed so far. Project progress, at the end of 2025, projected at the end of 2025 will be about 60%.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable Patterson, you have 2 minutes savings on the previous head, so you still could go to 6:35.
Mr. Chair, sir, I'll go immediately to Stelling. Stelling, sir, and particularly, sir, and there's a provision of $1 billion, sir. I don't see, Mr. Minister, Paramakatoy, Marijuana, Cubana in the legend, sir, and they.
Paramakatoy Stellings?
No, not
Port Kaituma.
Port Kaituma, my apologies, sir. Port Kaituma. Sir, Kumaka, Stellings here. Sir, can the Honorable Minister give us an update on those there, sir? I would assume they're under this line item.
No, they're not under this line
Honorable.
item, but I wouldn't rob you of the information. It's on the transport, it's not under this line item, but I wouldn't rob you of the information. For the Port Kaituma Stelling, I've reported to the nation that the work was substantially completed and there was movement in the soil towards the water side. I think it went into the ring because sometimes when we don't understand some things, we have to make amusement and comedy of it. We have since engaged, and I said, let me just put it this way, it was established at the ministry with all of the engineers that the contractor executed the project in keeping with the design. And the person who designed the Stelling also supervised the construction. Since we had the movement, we have established a team, bringing in independent experts outside of the project. Just last week, they made their final visit to the site. And it would appear that we do have a decision on a new design to make sure we deal with the movement. And the contractor has been asked to cost the differences of what work he would have to do. And as far as we see, it can be accommodated within the contract sum. The other stellings, which would be the Kingston Goods Wharf, maybe I should thank Mr. Brian Tiwari and BK for acting in a responsible manner of accommodating their neighbor, because vessels in the waterfront intermingle with each other and their neighbors. And you would have seen that the work is advancing at the Kingston Goods Wharf, not at the pace that we would like it, but we've been an inconvenience to our neighbor, and he has graciously allowed us to. We want to get that in. That's 71% completed. We are completing the work at Kumaka. Where's Patrick? Please come. The percentage of work at Kumaka, we just had a situation there that we're not proud of, but we are grateful that no one was injured. The crane driving piles toppled over. It's not a secret, but we're glad that nobody was injured or nobody was hurt. What percentage we are there? We are about 50%. The Stelling at Marijuana, we are at 15% on that. And if you would like to also know, I would probably invite you to join us for the completion of the opening of the Bartica Stelling, which would have been completed a long time ago, which is now being tested and be ready to go by the end of March. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson, I give you a final question. Always. You want to go to 313?
Yes.
Well, honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for program 312 capital stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye.
Gracious speaker.
Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. I now propose the question that the sum stated for program 313 transport capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. MP Patterson.
Right, sir. Only have one question. Sir, during the minister's budget speech, sir, you made reference that they're buying a new boat. Everyone can remember to ply the and then a new boat to go up to Region 1 and those things, sir. Sir, on the ferry vessel and ferry vessels and Stelling, sir, I see $200 million here, sir. Is this the sum you have allocated to buy the new cargo boats and the new boats for passengers to Mr. Minister? And if so, sir, what type of boat you buying with this?
Minister?
Sir?
Chair, the intent is that we are seeking to purchase a vessel that can carry probably more than 250 passengers and about 60 vehicles to go on the Supernam Rico route. And we are looking for a vessel that can carry between 150 to 200 passengers and 30 or so vehicles to the northwest. We have dispatched a team that included the Director General of the Maritime Administration and the mechanical engineer from that unit as well, to go to various sites, both in the USA and in Quebec, Canada, to inspect what is there. I have a report, but we are looking to do that. That's what we're doing here.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put a question that is sum stated for program 313. Capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, before I take the suspension, we had a check of the records, and we have what was laid so far with respect to Cheddajagan International Airport is the contract, which was laid the 15th of March 2012, the loan agreement laid 7th of February 2013, and the dollar credit line agreement for the photovoltaic power plant that was laid the 17th of May 2024. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson, if we're inaccurate there, can you please work with our staff to check?
Sir, I can guarantee you, sir, it's inaccurate. It will make public spectacle at the time as well.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, before you take the suspension, would you allow me?
Honorable members, Minister, just before you,
Sir,
Mr. Patterson?
No, sir, I was just saying that if you make me, sir, let me offer my thanks to the staff of the public infrastructure for enduring myself and the rest of the opposition, sir. That's what I wanted.
I would like to say thank you too, sir, to them.
Thank you, Honorable
As their
Minister.
former minister.
Minister, I guess both members knew what I was going to do, because on behalf of myself and my colleague, the Honorable Member Deodat Indar, we'd like to express our thanks to the men and women who work day and night, Sunday to Sunday, sometimes to their own peril, to make things happen in this country, to answer the concerns of people, and to respond to the emergencies as they develop from time to time. We have not been perfect, but they have done a fantastic job. And I would just like to remind, sir, that Guyana is in good hands with the PPPC at the helm. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I also join with you in commending your staff for the excellent road network which we have seen, and more particularly for joining you in taking us through your agency. Thank you, Minister, and thank you, staff. Honorable members, before we go, we have 5.5 hours of questioning remaining. We are breaking, according to my time here, at 6:44. We'll be back in 1 hour, and the person to ring the bell that the speaker is waiting for a quorum for the next session is Gita Chandan Edmund.
Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one karage, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here and they lived and died here. And we ain't moving nowhere. Make no mistake. Cause we ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river. That belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one karage, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo. Take time on night.
But these guys are showing that they're up for it.